Hello everyone, welcome once again for the cost accounting training, and we have covered majority of the portion in the cost accounting, where from the introduction and the scenario that which we are going to cover. And we have also seen how to configure the various, like the cost element and cost object dimensions. So all the dimension configuration were done. After that, in volume 3, we did dimension hierarchy creation, and then after hierarchy creation in volume 4, we have learned how to bring the data. It was to the GL data or also statistical entries, which we have got it in the system, and then we were able to also run a distribution policies. So basically, in volume 5 earlier, we planned to proceed with the distribution, but it is already done. So I will not be covering at this point of time. If you need, you can just refer volume 4 and learn how to distribute an amount. So now we are going to see an allocation. In an allocation, as per our no, topic, we have decided that once distribution is done to cost center 15 and 11, as per our plan, I am supposed to allocate to the cost center 10, 11, and 12. So this is an rule which we want to continue, and for this we have an office square meter area, that is an allocation base which I'll be using it, and then I'm going to allocate it. So moving on to the system, come to cost allocation policies, and then you can create a new allocation policy, like give a name demo. You can give an cost object hierarchy dimension. So we know we are using demo cc dot, and then we have a statistical dimension. You need to provide all the details. Once you have given the cost object dimension hierarchy and a statistical dimension, just save the data. Once it is saved, you are supposed to provide the rule. So in the rule, you can see here, we have to actually give a, again, the source for me is like an object dimension hierarchy node. So I am actually supposed to provide here the source. So what we want to do, that as per our previous example, we have to distribute from the cost center 15. We have to allocate the cost to these cost centers. I will select 015, and it falls under the CO, within the CO. So I'll select it and say OK. I'm actually picking only one cost center here, right? So I'm going to allocate whatever amount we have in 015, and then we have to give an allocation base. Actually wanted to go with two of an allocation base. So the first was an FD which we have used in distribution, where amount has been distributed, and second is an office area. So I'm going to use this allocation base now, so which is an office area, and then save the data, assign it to the policy where you want to apply it, give the date, and give the cost control unit. So the cost control unit is demo cc, and save it. Once an allocation policy is assigned, so ideally this has to be allocated into three cost centers. To understand the values, what you can do, that now as we have in the cost center 15, so from the distribution, we have 481, which we know that. Now we are using an allocation, and in allocation we are distributing this amount to 10, uh, 12, and 11 cost centers. So ideally these cost center should have no the value from 481. But in case, suppose if I have some, maybe some other transactions, like this 481 basically is actually from the account 600 120. In allocation base, what you are doing is that you are actually not picking an account, right? You don't have an option to select an account. So whatever cost is left out in the cost object 015, so which means that if 015 is having a balance in this account, or maybe any of the account, maybe 9 series account or whatever account, all the account balance will be allocated to the cost center 12, 11, and 10. So that is how an allocation will happen. So the major difference between a cost allocation and a cost distribution policy is that you don't see an account here in the source. However, in cost distribution you see an account as well. So in cost distribution, when I allocated from an account, and where I have given the source from the cost center 07 as well. But in an allocation policy you don't see an account. So once it is assigned, all I have to do that, I just have to run an overhead calculation. Any changes you make in policy, any of the policy, you just have to rerun the again calculation. So calculate it, and then make sure that your selection is again for the current period, and click on OK and see the result. This will always give you a latest calculation journal. So I click on last calculation journal. As you know that in our cost accounting ledger, we have two policy assigned. One is cost distribution, another is cost allocation. So in cost distribution, we have seen that we have no, this is an account from where we have distributed the cost, like 1124, and now we have a balance of around 481.71 in cost center 15, which you can see here. Okay, so this will be allocated. Apart from that, if there is a balance in any of the account, okay, in any of the account in 015 cost center, all will be allocated as per your allocation rule. So just go there and click on journal entry. So in the journal entry, as you know that 015, okay, is the, this is a line which I have to see here. I'll click on cost entries, and you can see here from 481.71 the allocation is happened to, now you can see here, to three of the cost center, which is 010, 011, and 012. Can find out from an allocation base which is linked here. So now on this basis the allocation has happened. You can trace a rule as well from here. So we have defined that whatever values we have in 05 cost object, just allocate it. Okay, so this is how you will be able to see the allocation base and also the values, how the distribution or allocation happens. Now, once this is done, something very important is that, just if you want to generate a report in a cost control workspace, what you have to do that, there will be always a link, a link which says that just click here in journal entries, and you can see, suppose if I click here and cost entries, this link which says the calculation. So you can see here, I want to generate a report. To generate a report in the cost control, I need to copy, or you can see, you can just remember the time as well. You need to configure the cost control workspace first. In the cost control workspace configuration, this is something which I'm going to use it. I always have to provide the latest calculation record. You can see here assigned calculation record. This is the old one, so I just want to replace with the new one. You can in fact select it, okay, and then save it. Any workspace, when you configure, you have an option to select the cost control unit, so you can change it any point of time. I This is the one which we are using it, and this is a cost element. So this is how you link the cost accounting ledger with the report. And you have an also option to just hide the column or display the column. So once you have done the configuration of the cost control workspace, just come here and click on the cost control workspace, and you will be able to see the report.